Hello and welcome back to Principles of Accounting 2. I'm your host, Dr. B. Today we're going to be talking about differential analysis and product pricing. The concept of product pricing is probably one of the most important concepts of business. You have to know how much to charge for your products in order to generate a profit. Make sure you don't generate a loss. uh, and before we explore the concept of product pricing, we need to talk about this thing called differential analysis. When you hear the word differential, it means the difference. Differential means the difference between. And when we look at decision making, we look at the difference between two alternative courses of action. Do I purchase and sell product A, or do I purchase and sell product B? Okay, you can look at those types of differences. You can look at two different investment decisions. Do I invest in cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, or do I invest in cryptocurrency, Dogecoin? There's so many different options out there. And to make that type of decision, we can do this thing called a differential analysis. Sometimes we call differential analysis incremental analysis. It's all it basically says is we look at the difference on we look at the impact on two potential decisions. And in doing so, we're looking at the difference between revenues and expenses. When we look at differential revenues, we're looking at the increase or decrease in revenue based off of each decision. And we're looking at the difference in cost, differential cost, the increase or decrease in cost based off of each decision. So we run them out. We run out these decisions. The vast majority of you are in hospitality. So I try to do our examples based off of the hospitality industry. And today's example, we're going to be looking at a restaurant company.
Thank you.
Hey, my pleasure. uh, so, from that perspective, since we look at differences in revenue and we look at differences in cost, we of course also need to take into consideration the difference in profit or loss in some cases. Uh, Revenue minus expenses equals net income profit, right? So revenue minus expenses equals profit. That whole idea, the whole idea. We're looking at basically, we're looking at the difference between two different decisions, and those two different decisions have two different possible income statements. So let's look at it from a restaurant perspective. We have a restaurant that is looking at two possible decisions. This restaurant, we have a bunch of tables, a bunch of seating, customer seating, and we're looking at the idea or possibility of removing some seating and replacing it with a salad bar. Now, in the restaurant business, we know that there are certain methods that we can use to generate additional revenue. And some of those ideas involve things like salad bars. So let's take a look at this example. Okay, we have two alternatives. We stick with our current tables. That's alternative one. Alternative two, we put in a salad bar. Okay, here we go. Alternative one, we currently have tables and chairs. Alternative one, revenue. We currently have $100,000 in revenue. We have $60,000 in costs. Our current profit is $40,000. Revenue minus cost equals profit. Okay. Alternative two, we put in a salad bar. Our salad bar will yield an additional $20,000 in revenue, so $120,000 in revenue. Our salad bar will increase our costs by $5,000 a year. Revenue minus cost equals profit. My salad bar will give me $120,000 in revenue, $65,000 in costs, giving me a total of $55,000 in profit. So we look at the differentials, the difference between the two alternatives. Revenue alternative 1 is 100,000. Revenue alternative 2 is 120,000. That gives us a positive difference of 20,000. Okay. We look at the difference in cost, 60,000 versus 65,000. That's a difference of $5,000. The difference in profit, 40,000 in comparison to 55,000. That's a difference of 15,000. So, Mr. Simmons, my question to you is, should we put a salad bar in or not? And why? What do you think? Salad bar or no? Any hospitality majors? Please let me know what you think. Dylan says yes. Do the salad bar. Okay.
Dylan, I think the salad bar would be good.
The salad bar good? Okay. Well, why is it good? What do you think?
Well, mainly because individuals like salad bars, and especially if you could, like one of those of course you can self-serve things like that. Mm-hmm. It gives you the ability to make your own decisions. You can see what you're getting. You can get how much you want to get. It's that it's just that ability to get what you want, how you want it, do it yourself. You know what you're putting on it, et cetera, et cetera. Just that in itself is good to have. Or
Excellent.
yeah, I just think it's good and it's healthy.
Absolutely. Totally agree. Very good. Thank you so much for contributing. I appreciate that. Uh, yeah, that's a great analysis, and I like Dylan's analysis as well. He mentioned that the revenues outpace the additional costs. We're obviously yielding an additional $15,000 in revenue or in profit. $20,000 additional in revenue, only an additional $5,000 in cost. We got an additional $15,000 in profit. So from that perspective, yeah, it makes perfect sense to go with the salad bar in this concept. And to answer your question, Dylan, yeah, the cost is it's not as realistic. I mean, as it's not going to just be an additional $5,000. We know that that's not accurate. But we see the point. The point is identified. So when we perform a differential analysis, we do it just like this. We have three different columns: column 1, column 2, column 3. Alternative 1 in column 1, alternative 2 in column 2, the differential in column 3. The differential is the difference between alternative 1 and alternative 2. We do the same thing for revenues, costs, and profits. And that differential analysis tells me the potential increase or decrease on our profits, costs, and revenues. Based off of our analysis, the salad bar in our example is the best alternative considering the increase in revenue of 20,000, the increase in cost of 5,000, and the increase in profit by 15,000. And so in doing so, we would yield an additional $15,000 in profit. So there's a lot of things that we can use this type of differential analysis for. The idea behind leasing or buying equipment, replacing a fixed asset like a chiller. I told you guys that story a long time ago. Selling a product or processing it further, accepting additional business at a special price, manufacturing or purchasing a part, discontinuing an unprofitable segment. All of these things we can use differential analysis for to make a decision. Remember, differential analysis is good for making a decision between two alternative courses of action, option one or option two. Differential analysis is the difference between option one and option two for revenue, profit. Leasing or selling, always an interesting decision. We can lease or sell equipment. So here's some data. Option one is to lease it. Option two is to sell it. We have a cost of equipment, $200,000. Book depreciation, $120,000. Book value, $80,000. Cost of equipment minus accumulated depreciation equals book value. Option one is to lease equipment. The revenue we would get for leasing our equipment would be $160,000 for 5 years, for total 5 years. The estimated repairs, insurance, and property tax on that leased equipment is $35,000. Residual value is $0. Alternative two, sell it for $100,000. I don't know if we'll get $100,000. It's $20,000 above book value. Commission on that sales will be 6%. So you run out of differential analysis. Alternative one, $160,000 in revenue. Cost would be $35,000, giving you a total potential profit of $125,000. Option two, sell the equipment. Revenue would be $100,000. Your cost would be $6,000. That's your 6% sales commissions. $100,000 minus 6 is $94,000. The revenue difference is $60,000. The cost difference is $29,000. The profit difference is $31,000. Clearly, based off of this analysis, alternative one is the best option. Although, and this is a big although, the book value is recognized as a sunk cost. Sunk costs are costs that cannot be recuperated, and they are costs that have incurred in the past. They do not affect any future decisions. Sunk costs. Think of it like anything that you purchase that you cannot recover. Yeah, it's that type of expense. So the book value in this case is called a sunk cost. It's not considered in any future decision to lease or buy. That's why we don't consider it. Discontinuing a product, we can make that same type of differential analysis. If we keep a product or discontinue a product, the example I'm going to give you is this is Post Cereal, okay? Battle Creek Cereal Company. Post Cereal. Post Cereal is trying to make a decision whether to discontinue brand flakes or continue them. Here's the data that they've given us. We have Corn Flakes, Toasted Oats, Bran Flakes, total company. Take a look at your sales, your costs, and your net income. We can see Corn Flakes, Toasted Oats, they're both doing pretty good, providing a good operating income. Bran Flakes, however, give me a loss of $11,000. Now, here's the thing you need to remember when we talk about discontinuing a product. Just because you stop making and selling the product doesn't mean you don't still have expenses. Remember what we talked about before when we talked about costs, fixed and variable costs, fixed and variable expenses. Fixed costs and expenses will continue regardless of the level of output. Fixed costs remain regardless of the level of output. They remain the same. So what that tells me is I'm still going to have fixed costs. Right now I'm selling my bran flakes. I got 100,000 in revenue. My costs are variable is 85, fixed is 26. I have a loss of 11,000. The alternative is to discontinue the bran flakes. My revenue would go to zero. My variable cost would go to zero. However, I would still incur fixed costs. In this example, 26,000. So, given this differential analysis, I would decide to continue making the bran flakes at a loss of 11,000. Here's why. I would rather lose 11,000 instead of losing 26,000. That's the reason why. So that's why some companies will still make products even at a loss. So yeah, right? What about the decision to make or buy? Using differential analysis, I can make or buy certain parts for my product. An automobile manufacturer is trying to make the decision to either make their own starter for the engine or to purchase the starter for the engine from a third party. Here's the data that we're given. Direct materials, $80 per unit. Direct labor, $80 per unit. Variable cost, variable factory overhead, $52 per unit. Fixed factory overhead, $68 per unit, giving a total cost per unit of $280. That's how much it cost me to manufacture it, of course. Or I can purchase it for $240 per unit. Okay? Company's operating at 80% capacity, so we have the room to do it. Here's the differential analysis. Remember, fixed factory overhead remains the same regardless of the level of output. So, purchase price alternative one will be zero because I'm making it in-house. $80 direct materials, $80 direct labor, $52 variable factory overhead, $68 fixed factory overhead, giving me $280 to make it. I can buy it for $240, but I'm still going to have fixed factory overhead. Still got to keep the lights on. So $240 plus $68 per unit is $308 per unit to actually buy it. So given this differential analysis, it makes sense for me to make it in-house. Although it costs me more to make it than it does to buy it, I still have fixed factory overhead even if I decide to buy it. Interesting stuff. What about replacing equipment? Like, for example, you have a hotel and your chiller breaks. I think I've told you guys that example a few times now, but I'll say it again. So, when I was a financial controller at the hotel, I had a chiller on my roof, 21 floor hotel, 400 some odd guest rooms. I forget exactly how many. 300,000 square feet of banquet space. Big hotel, big property. Second largest in New York State. Chiller breaks. The maintenance chief engineer comes to me and says, well, we can either replace it or we can fix it. And the cost of replacing it was much higher than it was to fix it. However, the replacement would last a lot longer than it would to fix it. So this type of decision happens all the time. So let's take a look at an example. We have a current machine. Book value, 100,000. Estimated annual manufacturing cost, 225. Estimated sales price, if I were to sell it, 25,000. I have 5 years remaining. Or I can purchase a new piece of machinery. Purchase price, 250. Estimated annual variable manufacturing cost, 150. Residual value, 0. Useful life remaining, 5 years. Do I continue with my current machine or do I replace my current machine? So let's take a look. If I keep my old machine, obviously I won't get anything from selling it because I'm keeping it, so 0. Purchase price would be 0. I'm not purchasing a new one. My variable cost for the 5 years is 1,125,000. How do I get 1,125,000? You might be asking. Per year, where's my old machine? There it is. Per year, variable manufacturing cost, 225. 225, multiply that by your 5 years. 1,125,000. Then, I compare that to replacing the machine. If I sell the old machine, I'll get 25,000 in revenue. Purchase price of a new machine is 250. Variable manufacturing cost for the 5 years is 750. How do I get 750? 150 times 5 years. 750 for 5 years. Gives me a loss of 975. Okay, so based off of this differential analysis, I will decide to replace my old machine because I'll lose less over time. It's what we call the opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the cost that is foregone by selecting one alternative over another. Foregone. Opportunity cost is the cost that is foregone for selecting one alternative over another. What about the decision to process or sell? In this type of situation, think of it an oil processor. Oil processor. Oil processor, they can process it further or sell it as it is. Oil has a couple of different derivatives. Derivatives are products that can be made from raw oil. So we get the oil out of the ground, we can decide to process it further or sell it. If I process it further, I can convert oil into gasoline. If I process it even further than gasoline, I can turn it into kerosene. Okay. Or I can sell it simply as gasoline. So let's look at the differential analysis. I can have a batch of 4,000 gallons of kerosene, 4,000 gallons of gasoline. The cost of producing the kerosene is $2,400 per batch. Sales price is $2.50 per gallon. For gasoline, 4,000 gallons, I'm going to lose 20% to evaporation from processing it further. Okay. Kerosene to gasoline. If I process it further to gasoline, I'll lose 20%. So that's 800 gallons I'll lose, giving me a total output of 3,200. Cost of producing a batch of gasoline is $3,050. My sales price for gasoline is $3.50 per gallon. Man, I hope it doesn't go that high again. It probably will though. Okay, so let's look at the alternatives. You take your revenue, 4,000 gallons, $2.50 for kerosene, $3.50 for gasoline. 10,000 revenue for kerosene, 11,200 for gasoline, difference of $1,200. Cost per batch, 2,400 versus 3,050. That's $650 difference. The profit, 7,600 from kerosene, 8,150 for gasoline, give me a difference of 550. So based off this differential analysis, I would select to process it further to gasoline because my potential profit would be higher by $550. Another example of differential analysis is accepting business at a special price. What this is you could get a special order from a customer. Say, hey, you know what, I'll pay you this much for you to produce this product and sell it to me at this price. And if you can either accept or reject that offer. This example, we have a basketball manufacturer. Let's say it's Wilson. I like Wilson, it's a nice company. They have capacity to produce 12,500 basketballs. They currently sell 10,000 a month. Their sales price is $30 per basketball. They have a total variable cost per basketball of $12.50, $7.50 per basketball fixed price, total manufacturing cost of $20. We have a special order. This individual would like to export 5,000 basketballs at $18 a piece. I can already see a problem. Okay. So if I reject that special order, I won't get any additional revenue. Okay, makes sense. If I accept the order, my additional revenue will be 90,000. How 90,000? Well, I can sell it at $18 a piece at $5,000 per total 5,000 units. My variable cost would be 62,500. 5,000 units at $12.50 per unit variable cost. Give me a total additional profit of 27,500. Now, the thing that we don't see taken into consideration is the fixed cost. The fixed cost not being taken into consideration. We omit it from the analysis. So, because we would have to pay that fixed cost regardless. Remember, this is a special order. I'm not at capacity yet, so I can definitely make that process change. So I would accept this alternative. Let's talk about sales prices. This is the second part of this chapter. Talk about sales prices. We have this thing called normal sales prices, target sales prices, and reasonable profit. A normal sales price is how much I would typically, on average, sell my product for. There are a couple ways to set the price normally. There are two methods. One's called the demand-based method. The other one is called the competition-based method. The demand-based method is the sales price is set based off of the demand for that product. Okay? If demand is high, I set my price high. If demand is low, I set my price low. What this tells me, think of like a new iPhone, okay? The newest one, whatever the newest one is. I have no idea. I don't keep track anymore. So the iPhone 50 or whatever number we're up to now. So iPhone 50 or whatever number we're at, the highest one, the newest one. I set my price high. Why? Demand is high for it. A lot of people want it. Set the price high. Okay? Over the course of a year, I adjust my sales price lower. Why? Less people want it. Okay? This is the concept of supply and demand. You guys remember that from economics, hopefully. If you haven't taken economics yet, you'll learn about this process. I know you will. Supply and demand. Competition. Competition, we set the price based off of what my competitors are selling the price at. Okay, if a competitor raises their price, I raise my price. If they reduce their price, I reduce my price. We do this to remain competitive with their prices. That's why in the hotel business, let's say what we do in the hotel business, we look at our competitors' rack rates, the nightly rates, and we try to come close to what our competitors are doing in terms of nightly rates. Why do we do that? Because the hotel business is very competitive, especially when you have multiple of them in a small area. Another method we use is called the cost plus method. Cost plus method is determined by taking your product cost, total cost, and variable cost to get the cost plus method. Cost plus method is it's very simple. We take the total cost per unit, and we add in our own markup. Markup is known as well, markup's a couple of different things. Markup is basically I'm adding in my own profit per unit. That's what markup is. This practice is commonly used by retailers like Macy's. Did you know on a piece of clothing, you purchase a piece of clothing like a shirt or whatever, name any type of piece of clothing. Did you know that the average markup on a piece of clothing is 700%? I bet you didn't know that. Yeah, 700% for a piece of clothing. The cost to make a shirt is about 20 cents. 20 cents to make a shirt. Macy's will sell that shirt to you for 20 bucks. Just think about that for a second. Let that sink in. That's how retail works. How do we find the markup? Cost per unit, that's the cost of manufacturing. Direct labor, direct materials, factory overhead. Markup is found by taking your estimated selling administrative expenses plus any desired profit. That gets you to your markup. Your sales price, we take our markup plus our product cost. Markup is we take our selling administrative expenses plus our desired profit. So how do we apply the product cost method? It's 2 steps, couple steps. Step 1, find the product cost. Direct materials, direct labor, factory overhead is the total cost of each individual unit. We estimate our selling administrative expenses. Step 2. Step 3, we divide the total product cost divided by the estimated units of production and estimated units sold. That gets us our product cost per unit. Step 4, we compute the markup. Compute markup by taking desired profit plus selling administrative expenses divided by the total product cost that you got from step 3. Desired profit. How do we find desired profit? We take the desired return times total assets. Step 5, we find the markup per unit. To do this, we take the markup percentage times the product cost per unit. Step 6, to find the normal selling price per unit, we take the product cost per unit, it's cost of manufacturing, direct labor, direct material, factory overhead, plus your markup per unit that we got from step 5 equals the normal selling price per unit. Let's look at it through an example. We have manufacturing costs, direct labor, direct material, factory overhead. Total manufacturing cost is $1.5 million. My selling administrative expenses is $170,000. My total cost is $1,670,000. My total assets are $800,000, and my desired return is 20%. So by applying the steps, product cost $1.5 million, selling administrative expenses $170,000. My total cost per unit is $15. How do I get $15? Total product cost $1.5 million divided by 100,000 units I expect to produce and sell. It's $15 per unit. Step 4, find the percentage, 22%. How do we get that? Desired return is 20% times total assets, 800,000. Gets me my desired profit of 160,000. Okay, got that part down. Desired profit, 160,000 plus desired selling administrative expenses, 170,000 divided by product manufacturing costs, 1.5 million. That's 330,000 divided by 1.5 million is 22%. So step 5, I find my markup per unit. 22% times $15 per unit is $3.30. So my markup's $3.30. My total cost to produce each unit is $15. I add $3.30 markup to get a sales price of $18.30. And that's how it really works. That's that's the most common method used by retailers. Well, target costing is another method. Target costing is like saying, this is how much profit I want. I want this much profit. Great idea. So to find the target cost, we take our expected sales price minus the desired profit. As the target changes, so does our sales price. Current market price to the expected market price. Over time, typically the price of things goes down, or the sales price goes down. Why is that? Because total costs go down over time, the product demand goes down over time, and that's why prices fall. Other reasons for the reduction in cost: simpler design, reduction of direct materials, direct labor, waste is eliminated, all those types of things. Which leads us into our next part of the discussion, production bottlenecks. A bottleneck is like a log jam, okay? This happens because there's too much water rushing down into a small area. The same concept applies in manufacturing. Sometimes the demand is so high that the manufacturer can't keep up with the demand. Example of that is toilet paper during a pandemic. Demand goes so high because everyone freaks out and the manufacturers can't keep up. So that caused what we call a production bottleneck. Now, in order to resolve a production bottleneck, we need to find out what was the cause. How do we maximize profits from it? So here is a company that makes 3 different types of products. Okay, product A, B, and C. There's a production bottleneck that happened. What happened is that the company hit capacity, and the demand was higher than the capacity. And when we hit capacity, there's more time being used. Okay. So sales price, product A is 130. Variable cost is 40 bucks. That gives me a contribution margin of 90. Remember, sales price minus variable costs equals contribution margin. We talked about that a few chapters ago. Then we have this thing called heat time for each product. Heat time is a process that this manufacturer uses. All we need to do is find out the unit contribution margin per production during a bottleneck. During a bottleneck. Bottleneck, again, is when the demand is higher than the capacity. So to find that, we take the unit contribution margin divided by the heat hours per unit, which is, in this case, treatment per unit. So the contribution margin for product A was $90. The heat contribution was 1 hour. That's $90 per bottleneck hour. Product B was $100 divided by 4, that's 25. Product C is 120 divided by 8, is 15. The lower the bottleneck hour, the better. This leads us to one of our last concepts. It's called yield. Yield is the additional. Yield is the additional. Yield is how much utilization I am getting from the sale of additional units. How much utilization I'm getting from the sale of additional units. Those of you in the hospitality industry, you'll like this example. This one is for airlines, okay? Airlines is part of hospitality, yes. Okay, so let's take a look. We have an airline that has a service between Atlanta and Dallas. We have an airplane on that route. The plane depreciation, $10,400. Crew salaries, $1,000. Fuel, $3,000. Ground salaries, $2,000. Airport fees, $2,000. Giving us total fixed cost of $18,400. And I have variable costs per passenger, $12 per passenger for fuel, $8 per passenger for ground salaries, $15 per passenger in passenger services, $35 cost per passenger. Okay, so I have fixed cost and variable cost, $18,400 and $35 per passenger. Okay, so how do I find the sales price for each ticket? Let's assume that we have a plane that has a capacity of 200 seats, of which I sold 170 seats at $150 per hour. What is my contribution per seat? So we take ticket price 150 minus variable cost per passenger, gets me contribution per ticket 115. What is my break even for this plane? How many seats do I need to sell to break even? My fixed cost per flight is $18,400. My contribution margin per passenger is 115. I need to sell 160 seats on this 200 passenger flight to break even. So, how do I fill the flight? I've already sold 170 seats, so I've already broken even, but I want to maximize profit. In other words, I want to add to my yield. How do I do that? I can sell the remaining 30 seats at a discount. So I decided I'm going to sell the remaining 30 seats at 50% discount, $75 for the remaining tickets, the remaining 30 seats. Remember, I have a variable cost per passenger, so $75 minus $35 variable cost per passenger gives me contribution margin of the remaining 30 seats of $40 per passenger. I have 10 seats that I can sell. So $40 contribution margin times the 10 seats, it's $400 from standby passengers. And that, my friends, is the end of differential analysis of product pricing. This is the last WebEx session for this course. What that means, let's take a look. A couple of things, okay? Right now, we're in week 6. We have, due this Sunday, chapter 24 quiz, chapter 25 discussion board. Very simple, come on, you guys got this stuff. This is easy stuff. Then, I will post the recorded videos for chapters 26, 27, and 28. So next Sunday, which is May 2nd. By May 2nd, you need to complete Chapter 26 quiz, Chapter 27 homework, Chapter 28 discussion board. Yes, it's a lot. I know. I'm sorry. That's the nature of the course because we had that spring break thing that kind of got in the way. So, what does that mean? By next Sunday, May 2nd, you need to have completed all the remaining chapters for the course. Now, also at the same time, there's this thing called the final exam. Next week is technically final exam week, which is the other reason why we're not hosting a WebEx session. So, what needs to happen? Complete the remaining tasks for the course, chapters 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 assignments. Remember, each assignment's worth 5% of the grade, so please do it. The exam, the final exam. The final exam will cover chapters 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. You will not see questions from chapters 27 or 28 on the final exam. The final exam is 20 questions, which also means 20% of your total grade. It is a mix of true, false, multiple choice, and matching. The questions come from chapters 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. Okay? It is currently open and available. If you so desire to begin the exam today, you're more than welcome to. You can look at the questions, look at your notes, look at the PowerPoints, rewatch the videos, read the textbook, all of those things to help you to answer the questions. It is not timed. It's open and available. You can start answering the questions and close it and come back to it later. Just make sure you submit it by May the 4th. Okay? Any questions? Questions, comments, concerns?
Professor, you say by May 4th, the final?
Yep, so the exam is due by May 4th, the final exam, that's right.
Okay. And then the class today, the final class, or?
Yeah, today's the final face-to-face WebEx session.
Okay.
I'll post the recorded videos for the other chapters as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. Absolutely. Any other comments, questions, concerns? Anything at all? We feeling good? Anything at all? Okay. All right, my friends. Well, it has been my absolute pleasure to be your professor this semester. I've had the pleasure of having some of you more than once. I had you in the first part of the semester for 201 and the second part of the semester for 202. Some of you, this is my first time I may have had you in class, and I hope to have you in a future class. I want to thank all of you for a wonderful semester together. I think that this was a wonderful class, and I hope that you all got something out of it. And for those of you who are graduating, congratulations, of course. For those of you who will be graduating in the future, I hope to see you in person at graduation. I'll be there, and I hope you'll be there as well. So thank you all so very much for your time, for being wonderful students. It's been an absolute pleasure of having you in class, and I hope you enjoyed it. As a reminder, make sure you do all the work. I want you all to pass. Now remember, you need to get a C or a higher to pass the course, right? So make sure that you get that C or higher. I want you all to get A's, but you know how that goes. So make sure you do all the work, yes? And don't miss anything. Make sure you do every single assignment. Okay. If you need
Thank you very
help,
much.
hey, my pleasure, Richard. Absolutely. If you need
Okay.
help,
Thank you. Thank you for everything, Professor. We had a good time.
absolutely, yes. We had a wonderful
Thank
time. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll keep in touch.
Yes, please stay in
Thank
touch.
you, Professor.
It's my pleasure. I'm on LinkedIn. Make sure you join me on LinkedIn if you're on there. You know my YouTube channel. Make sure you tell your friends about it. I'm sure they're real interested in learning about accounting, right? You know, definitely stay in touch. Please do, and make sure to please complete that course survey when it comes out. If it has already, please make sure you do it. If not, you know, when it does come out, please make sure you do the course survey. It helps me and it helps the university. So thank you all so much for your time. May God bless you. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Do the right things. Thank you all so much for your time. I appreciate all of you.
Okay, thanks again. Okay, have a nice day, Professor.
What's that?
I said thank you again. Have a
Oh,
nice day.
thank you. Thank you, Eskil.
Thank
I
you,
appreciate you.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Travis. It's been a pleasure.
I'll do it actually right now, but I'm on LinkedIn as well, so I'll go ahead and connect with you on LinkedIn.
Yeah, please do. That'd be great.
Of
Appreciate
course.
it.
Thank you, Professor.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Regina. It's been an absolute pleasure working with you as always.
You too.
Richard, I'm also gonna connect with you on LinkedIn as well if you have
Yeah,
it.
yeah, please do. Please do. Absolutely. Wonderful.
Thank you. I'll catch up with you later.
Sounds good.
Send you.
Good luck with
Yeah. Have a
good
great
luck with
day.
the Bitcoin.
I'm just trolling. I don't take that seriously.
I'll catch you later, Richard. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Have a great day, Professor.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And thank you all so much for your time. It's been a pleasure teaching you this semester. Take care. Bye-bye.